What's going on, guys? It is October 28th, Monday, October 28th. I'm Sebastian Coscione. That's Brandon Tegetov. This is Listen Commands. We have a great show lined up today. We've got Michael, the future of powerlifting. He'll be popping in here at some point to talk Taylor Atwood's return. Uh, and then, but first, we're going to talk about I guess my meet we did this
Yeah.
weekend. And then I guess we're gonna finish up with him with ours. I told him we're doing r/powerlifting. So we need an intro sounder. You need to make an intro that goes r/powerlifting.
Yeah,
And then
no,
like
that segment's become very popular actually. Like everyone I've talked to has loved r/powerlifting. So we're
yeah,
gonna
I think
keep
it's
doing
funny
it.
because it's just easy content, easy content. And there's a good one today I just saw.
Mm,
I directed my 17th meet yesterday, Saturday. Uh, the Boo Bash 2, the Boo Bash one of my favorite meets. It's actually only the second time I've done it, but it's the first time I was able to do kind of the stage setup I want. I do these inflatables that are Halloween themed and curtains and lights and stuff. So it was good. 36 lifters. It was a huge meet. Um, for like my standards, we usually like cap sessions at 24, but a college team jumped in last minute. And then like when you're at 36 lifters, you're kind of between a two session and a one session meet. And I just went with the one session because it's just easier for the staff because then you don't need extra staff to do weigh-ins. It just kind of makes things a little easier. So yeah, that happened this weekend. Well, meet was fine. Like when you're meet director, you get a different perspective. Like if you're a lifter, you're a successful meet for you is I PR'd my total. A successful meet for me is no one got hurt. The meet ran on time. Everyone got paid. Like everything got cleaned up after. Like there's like it's like things like that matter a lot more than like anything performance wise. People ask, "Oh, did you see that lift?" Well, I'm like, "No, dude, I was like changing the toilet paper." Like, it's not me directing. You're in charge. Like, you have to. I walk so everyone else can run, right? So it's definitely a different perspective. I'm not there as a spectator. I'm there to manage the environment. Uh,
and I thought I saw Dan Swole there. Was he
he's
announcing?
he's referee.
Oh, referee.
Yeah,
Okay.
and a spotter and loader. Yeah,
Mm.
had to be the youngest referee group in the country for sure, though.
Ooh.
Um, Getting all those guys because when we had a lot of older refs in the USAPL side, and when I split off, I had to get a bunch of people certified, and I had to get a bunch of people to come in because that was actually a huge issue with the USAPL is no one was ever getting certified because there was like no real there was some leadership, but there was none of the directors were leading the charge. There really weren't any directors actually. Um, Kevin's got some people, um, you know, um, certified and stuff. So there have been some people take the leap. And anyone who's a USAPL ref, for those who don't know, if you're a USAPL ref, you can become a Powerlifting America rep like instantly. All you gotta do is buy a membership and fill out a form and then get approved, and you're basically a referee. So that's really cool. So that kind of helps. And obviously, as more and more people transition over, more and more people switch over, things have evolved that way. So that's pretty good. But yeah, I really can't complain. We've got a huge. People are really liking the so how what we do is how we do our state meet. I'm pulling up the thing right here. How we do our state meet is in order to qualify for the state meet, you have to do one meet in Illinois. Now, the reason we do this is because it helps support all the local directors. So you have to do one meet in the previous year. So the year starts July 1st and goes all the way through June 1st. So if you do any meet, if you just register, if you a total, you qualify. But to make it kind of a little more spicy, you also, if you that's important. But you also, if you want to qualify for prime time, we take the top 12 by GL. Those totals also have to be done in a Powerlifting America Illinois meet during the year. So all those are going to be updated shortly. But that it's really cool. It's a really cool thing. Like people really want to qualify for prime time. Because that's like it's the best of the best lifters in the state of Illinois. So it's a really cool thing, and it's obviously it's part of me trying to develop a more competitive model at the local level. We want to get people more involved there to create some sort of model. And so I'm not only am I working on the pro level, but I want to work on the local level too because I want to get people, I want to keep people engaged down there. So I'm trying to come up with some stuff. I'm thinking about doing like a series, like where you have to compete at like 3 different meets, and then the top lifters from those 3 meets qualify for, or the top, like the you can score points in each meet, and then whoever the top 3 scores are um, gets money or something like that. I think there are some options for sure. I haven't really brain blasted on that enough to figure out something. Because I'm really actually hoping, if you're listening, I would love to hire someone to run the kind of the operations part of the powerlifting meets. So if you're out there listening and you're a referee or someone who really likes powerlifting and feels like you could manage some events, hit me up. We might actually have to post that job somewhere. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's pretty. I'm trying to think what else we can talk about in the meantime.
Yeah, we're gearing up for those of you listening. We're waiting on Mike Gold, and
Yeah, we're gonna
we are
talk Taylor
excited to
Atwood.
talk.
Obviously, he competed. We'll tease that. Um,
Yeah, because it's pretty much everything that everyone's seeing right now, I'm pretty sure. I mean, me personally, it's like been everything everywhere.
yeah, I mean, we'll touch on it briefly. I don't want to talk too much about it without him on here, but like obviously, like he competed, but we kind of want to figure out what that means. So that's what we
Hmm.
want to talk about, Mike. Like, what does it mean that he's back? What is like, what's next? Like, was that his last meet? Is he even going to show up to Nats? Like, there's still a lot of impending questions on
Hmm.
that front. Let me go ahead and see what else we have on the agenda. I'll be going down to Greenville University in Southern Illinois. They're running their first meet in the St. Louis area. So that'll be super uh, good to get that'll be the first Powerlifting America meet in the St. Louis area. So that'll be something that I'm really excited to be at in helping kind of grow the sport. Yeah, because I guess we can talk about growth of the sport. So a lot of people say, "Oh, we want to grow the sport." Right? It's classic. It's a classic trope. I want to grow. We want the sport to grow. Blah blah blah. And so what happens is people say they want to grow the sport because that's a good thing to say, and it's true. You want the sport to grow, right? Because of blah blah blah. But no one knows what that means. It's provide.
Right.
It gets the people going. Okay. So it really helps to define what growing the sport actually means so that you can work backwards and you can kind of determine like what do we actually need to do to grow the sport. So there's kind of like I think there's 2 lanes, kind of how there's like pro and amateur. There are 2 lanes. There's how do we get more people competing in powerlifting, right? I don't think we need to work on getting more people lifting. I think culture's kind of doing that for us. I think we can have a part in that, but I really don't think that's um, us. It's really how do we get more people involved in powerlifting, right? And so I think a lot of people. I mean, I squat bench deadlifts in high school. Like all the kids squat bench and deadlift in high school. So the question is, how do we then get that to segue into a competitive avenue? So I think the first most important thing I think is actually having competitions, right? If you don't even have competitions, it's really hard to get into powerlifting. Like you need something to kind of get into. Um, I think the best thing to do is to get we talk about this youth involved in powerlifting. So the kind of the best way to do that is through the parents because the parents are going to be in charge of what kids do with their time at gyms. You can literally squat bench deadlift at most gyms. So this program could be available at like Lifetime or the local YMCA. You develop a youth lifting program, kids squat bench and deadlift. Um, they get strong, then they do a meet at the end. All the parents come and they watch and they go, yay, 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 meet, yay. And I think that would be really cool if you developed some sort of program like that would be really, really cool. However, I have been on a little bit, so I have been on a little bit of I don't know if it's a hissy thing or what, but so when I first came over to Powerlifting America, a lot of people were hesitant about switching. So I decided that I was just gonna blow out like the water. And so I was charging $20 entry for meets, right? $20. Like that's unheard of to enter a meet. $20. You got a $20 bill. You go to Chipotle, you could come to a meet, right? Same gym. When I did that, what was so cool is like literally any like anyone who had touched a barbell in my gym who wasn't a powerlifter suddenly signed up for a meet, right? $20. Yeah, I'll try that. Awesome. I'll try that. And obviously $20 is not sustainable, right? I did somehow because of the having the right amount of spectators and the right amount of tickets, I did make money on a $20 entry meet. Um, but that was also because I was trading memberships with spotters and loaders and stuff, and it's just not sustainable. And nor do I want to do a meet where I'm only making a couple $100. Like I want to do a meet with like I want to if I'm like these things are incredibly time consuming and stressful. I have to basically make money. It's also my job. So it's not sustainable, but I love seeing all these people who would have never done a meet just jump in because it was $20. And so I think there's there's a way to do that profitably, but the problem is it has to be unsanctioned. It can't be like a sanctioned meet. And so I think the future growth in powerlifting is going to take place with unsanctioned meets, but it can't be unsanctioned. Like so sorry, they can't be what we think of as unsanctioned. They have to be like cats are fighting. Um, they have to be sanctioned. They have to be like well organized and well structured, and they have to be under some sort of banner. But they can't. You can't charge $100 for a meet entry, $75 for a membership just to see if people like it. Right? What you need is you need more mock meets basically. You need more opportunities for lifters just because that's what local meets have turned into. You're no longer going to a local meet, or I don't think you ever went to a local meet to try and go win your weight class, right? Because there's no one in your weight class, or there's only a handful of people in your weight class, and there's usually a big talent disparity between the people in the weight class. So local meets really have evolved into these things where um, lifters either are trying to qualify for Nats. In that case, you do need to be a sanctioned meet, right, to qualify for Nats. Or two to like PR your total, or three is to just try the sport. And so the thing is, a majority of lifters aren't really trying, like maybe you're trying to go to Nats, but like I think once they institute QTs and stuff, that'll be a little more difficult. So I think we do need kind of more of a local-esque level, even below sanctioned meets. So that's something I really thought about because I also like to think about the macro, and think about actually growing the sport. So it depends on like, do you actually need real referees to do that? But you definitely need spotters and loaders. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of questions. Can you do it with one referee? Can you do it with just a chief referee and not two sides? Um, yeah, there's a lot of good questions there. All right, so on to our next segment. This is I asked Chat GPT, in my infinite wisdom, what adjustments need to be made to powerlifting to appeal to mainstream viewers. Chat GPT replied, to make powerlifting more appealing to mainstream viewers, several adjustments could be made to enhance its accessibility, excitement, and viewer engagement. Okay, this weekend, I was out with a friend and he had a great, so I get a little tizzy because there's a lot of people out there who um, don't like my ideas. Okay. And uh, rather than, they don't like my ideas, blah blah blah. He's crazy, blah blah blah. That's absurd, blah 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 blah. The newer stuff I've been cooking up is a little crazy, I'll admit. The older stuff is not that, like the stuff that I like started out working on is not that crazy. Like teams is not crazy. Like my vision, like my big picture vision is crazy, but like that's good. Like you want that. I think the where it kind of gets crazy is asking athletes to compete every week instead of like every 2 months. I think that's crazy. But obviously, we've talked about how we will compensate with a longer off season, so athletes will actually end up getting stronger because we've changed the format. So and we don't know. Like you have to experiment with these things to find out if it actually is going to work or not. You don't. No one really knows until we've tried it. So I was out with this friend, and he said, "Well, here's what's happening." He says, "Those people are trying to make the old way better, right? And it still isn't working. And so because they're afraid of what's new, and like that's true because every entrepreneurial breakthrough has always been something that someone else wasn't willing to do or didn't think of because otherwise everyone would do it, right? If you know either someone didn't think about it or everyone or it's too hard that no one wants to do it. Yeah, it's really really hard to mainstream powerlifting. That's why no one's been able to do it because it's really really hard. So what is it going to take? It's going to take either a ridiculous amount of work or it's going to take a different way. And I think a different way is probably the right path at this point. I do think there are some, I mean, me and Mike talked about on the last podcast how you can make an individual sport work. You can make it work as an individual sport, but you have to switch it to head to head. And that's really changing the fundamental nature of the sport for sure.
Mhm.
But anyway, I asked ChatGPT about these, what it should do. And number one, storytelling and personalities. Focus on athlete stories, highlighting individual lifters' backgrounds, struggles, and training journeys can build emotional connection with the audience. Mainstream sports often succeed by focusing on the athlete's personal narrative. Okay, I love this. So I mean, obviously, they that's a big thing that I think actually everyone talks about is talking about the background of athletes. The problem is that we don't dig deep enough, and also we don't go surface level enough either, right? We kind of find this middle ground. A lot of people like to talk about training and talk about all these things. It's like, no, I want to talk about like so what when they talk about in football, they talk about like quirky things with athletes, storylines that have been going on. So, for example, a lot of people really aren't great storytellers. In we don't have great journalists in powerlifting, right? Journalists are storytellers. You're telling a story. And so we don't have people who can draw this narrative, right? We don't have people who can tell stories. And that's just a matter of money, right? We can't afford to have great broadcasters and stuff. So we can't find people that really have these great stories. We don't have these big meetings where everyone gets together and decides on a narrative. So like, here's an
Like,
example.
did you hear the Ricky Pearsall one just last night? Like that kind of thing. It
Which
creates like he's the guy on the 49ers who got shot and they drew the whole thing into a promotion for like EMTs and first responders. It's just like they had a whole story behind how he got
oh,
shot in the off
okay, yeah,
season.
that's right. They've got comms people and they've got I didn't see that. I was in and out of the 49ers and Cowboys game.
Mm.
Um but like so when you're drawing these like story arcs and these storylines and stuff, the problem is I don't know if there's a problem, but I'm trying to think. So like, if you're drawing a storyline into, let's say Sheffield, right? Let's draw storylines into there. The storyline coming in is Agatha is like on a this ascent, right? And so the story is pretty much all going to be all about her. So like that would be like I would probably go with two main storylines. The problem is they want to divvy up the story, and the problem is no one care. Like I don't care. It's the Agatha show. Like the lead story is she's coming in. She's competed 6 times last year. She's on an absolute tear. She's the best powerlifter in the world, right? What is she gonna? How is she gonna top that? Right? I would come in. That would be my main storyline. Main storyline would be she's coming in, she's the best powerlifter in the world. She trains like a machine. That would be like my storyboard. I would start with Agatha the machine. And it'd be like I wake up every morning. I like see her morning routine. I wake up, I eat, I meal prep, I power lift, I get my steps, I eat, and I go to bed every day. I SBD 60. Like that's my main story. I would interview her. I would talk about how she's a machine, how she's continuing to get better. She's only 23 and she's continuing to be the best powerlifter in the world. So I'd lead with that story. And then over on the men's side, we've got so on the men's side, I think you may be able to go with more than one story. I think the men's side, there's two good stories. There's obviously you have Jesus, who I have multiple times considered the most watchable powerlifter on the planet. I would talk about him. He just had a kid, so I would talk about how fatherhood, like that's the relationship. Like I would talk about how fatherhood has changed him, how he wants to do stuff for his son. Like that would be the storyline I'm putting up. From what I know, I would be talking that up. He's the best power. I consider him the best powerlifter in the world. Mainly because I'm obviously an event person, promoter, and he helps promote an event, right? He is the draw. And so I would talk about him. And then I would talk about the battle of the obviously you've got Gel, whatever how you pronounce his name, dropping to 66. So he can't beat Perk at 74. So he's dropping a weight class because 66 weight class has a lower world record. So now in a real sporting event, you would here in a real sporting event, you would talk about how is that is it right that like he can just drop a weight class to take on a lower world record? So he is not going to be the best power lifter, right? He's not going to have the best GL, but he wins because of that system. And then like obviously someone could say, well, that's the beauty of Sheffield. It's all world record based. It's blah blah blah. It's creating parity, and like you can talk about that. Like you can talk about how it's creating parity. Is it fair that they wouldn't have let him in a wild card at 74? Did he tell them he was a 66? Like I would ask those questions. Like I'm not really sure. However, you got to play with the rules in front of you, right? So right now it's Perk. Can Perk do enough to beat Gel at 66? And that would be the story. Like, and those are the storylines going into this. Everyone else is kind of I don't know if it's such an is it more of an afterthought, but what I would do is I would lead what you do is in the pregame show, I would lead with those three stories. Right. They do like a sizzle, but they don't do like a full pregame show. I don't know why. I've never. I mean, I was told that they were going to do some stuff at Nats, and they did nothing. And so, like, hopefully, they do some pregame stuff. But I would do a pregame show. I would talk about those stories, those three stories, and then what you do is when each athlete comes out for their openers, that's when you talk about their backstory. So each person gets their backstory during their opener, because you're not really watching the opener like for like they're not failing. These guys, the top athletes in the world, are not failing their openers. So like talk about their stories there, and like talk about the stories, talk about that kind of stuff. Um, each lifter when they come up, because I remember I saw this. So this was like pure magic. Justin Tucker is kicking for the Ravens. Justin Tucker is kicking a field goal. A field goal is a boring ass thing, right? So they're lining up for it. There's nothing going on. They're lining up for the field goal, and Al Michaels goes right into a fact about Justin Tucker. And then the next field goal, he continues the story. So like they're like drawing this narrative out across about this particular player. He's a kicker. And they're drawing this story about Justin Tucker. Oh, Justin Tucker hasn't missed. He's one of the best kickers in the league. Like they're drawing, they're creating this narrative arc, and they were talking about personal details and stuff. And I think in a powerlifting meet is really easy, because you're going to have in a 12, let's say, obviously 24 is a lot of lifters, but like if you had a 12 lifter meet, you're going to have 36 attempts of squats, you're going to have 36 attempts of bench, 36 attempts of deadlift. You just draw 9 facts per person. You interview each athlete, and you get 9 facts per athlete. Oh.
Or you don't even need to do that because like I feel like one of the things that actually isn't a problem in the powerlifting community is there's no lack of influencers being influencers. You know, like
Yes, no, exactly. They're all influencers. Like I couldn't name one person who doesn't have a massive social media presence. Like not massive, but
exactly.
like has a serious social media presence. Um,
So
so
people
yeah,
already know about them. So I mean, I feel like most of the people announcing already are in some capacity fans of the sport or in a large capacity actually, but they should probably know, like they're probably seeing all this stuff also, so they don't even need to go out of their way to research some of the personal details and some of the personal stuff that this person has been up to, you know?
right. So I want to touch on this one, because this one actually kind of pisses me off. Um, this is in the first blurb the ChatGPT gave me. It said storytelling personalities create rivalries and showdowns. So for some reason, I guess it's narrative building. For some reason, it's narrative building. Actually, I'd love to get Mike's take on this. I think it's narrative building. They go the battle of the 83s at Sheffield. I go, what do you mean? There's no weight class battle. Like, there's no weight class battle. They're talking about this battle of the 83s at
Talking
Sheffield.
about Sheffield?
Yes. And I'm like, there is no battle of the 83s, because that's not how the scoring system works. I get know, and I get
I
it. It's narrative building. I get it. But like, it's hard for me as like someone who's really into this. Like, that's not the story. The battle is Perk versus Gel. Like, that's the story. Like,
I have a I kind of agree, kind of disagree.
because they can't win. Like, they're not winning. They're not fighting each other. They can't battle each other. They're literally not. They're not on the same playing field. Like, everyone's on the same playing field.
So I'll tell you, I agree because factually you're correct, right? Like the battle has to be there's a scoring system and it's who's battling to win with the scoring system. So obviously you're factually correct from that standpoint, but obviously there's narrative building and also there's multiple things, right? There's this is a meet that's based off breaking the world record, right? So the winner is whoever breaks the record by the highest percentage, and then there's also like bonuses for each world record broken. But within it, the reason why they try to like for the wild cards and stuff to use it on select athletes is because they want if possible, to have head-to-head lifters in weight classes. Now, obviously, all these 83s are also going against this 59, 66, 74, whatever, all the other weight classes, right? But they're still battling within themselves also. Like, I think, especially in the 83s is interesting because none of the 83s are battling for the top 2 spots, right? We're pretty confident that even if any of the 83s has their like top end day, like their 99th percentile day, they don't come top 2. Can we agree on that?
Yeah. So I guess what I would ask is I would ask that shift the narrative away from them. They're not really battling they are battling with each other, but they're battling with each other to try to win that $5,000 for breaking each individual record. That way, at least the narrative is rooted in the actual victory, right?
You're assuming that everyone that right? How many people tuned in? Like 500,000 or something, right?
So that's no. So the peak concurrent viewers was 35,000.
No, I know that. I'm saying how many total people tuned in? About 500,000, I think.
No, that's not how it works. So how YouTube views get counted is every time someone turns in for 30 seconds or more, that counts as a view. So every time someone jumps in and out, that counts as a view. So everyone's getting counted. I mean, how many times you jump in and out if you're watching on your phone? 10 or 20 times. Right. So how viewership gets counted in the NFL is every minute of the broadcast, they take an average. So when you hear that 19 million people watched Chiefs Ravens, that means it could have peaked at 30 million. It could have cratered at 10.
Is there no way to see how many unique viewers there were?
I think they have that on the back end. I would love to. I mean, here's the thing.
I can see on my own YouTube studio how many unique viewers I have.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's out there. I would love that. I would love to.
Okay, so I'm curious because that number is actually very meaningful to me. Because we're trying to see how many people are tuning in to watch this meet, right? The total amount of views, like we said, is irrelevant if people are jumping in and out. Peak concurrent is good. It's good, but it doesn't tell us total, right? Like, let's say you said 35,000 peak concurrent, but let's say that means there were 150,000 uniques. Let's say, I'm just making this up. Forget, the numbers don't matter in this specific thing. But my point is, let's say of that 150,000, let's just make up unique viewers. How many of them are in touch with powerlifting? The answer is probably like maybe 10,000 of them. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think it's that high. I don't.
Okay,
I don't think there's enough of a ramp up. They don't.
So that's my point. My point is like it's probably not even 10,000, right? So we're talking like of the unique viewers, somewhere in like the single digit percentages of them are in tune with powerlifting, which means 90+% of them know very little about powerlifting. Now,
actually, real quick, I will. So with Russ this year, it will be higher because he's just a more friendly. Right. I guess.
So my point is when you have 90+% of the viewers who don't know much about powerlifting, they're not going to be in tune with like, oh, the scoring system. They haven't, obviously the records will be displayed, but they don't know what the records mean. They don't know who holds the record. Like, all this can be helped with like good graphics and good commentating and all that. But like, even with that, they're not in tune. So the way to get them is battles, because in other sports, right? Like if there's like a big UFC fight, right? They're going to promote obviously whatever it's going to be. They're going to have whoever, honestly, I don't follow fighting, but
I know exactly.
So for example, here's a good example, right? Baseball, right? Obviously it's not an individual sport, right? It's Yankees versus Dodgers. Anyway, but if you look at the promotions, right? I've seen like promotions and ads. They don't say just Yankees versus Dodgers. It's like Aaron Judge versus Shohei Ohtani. They're not playing each other. Ohtani's not pitching this year. They're not battling each other. But the bottom line is Aaron Judge, best hitter in baseball. Shohei Ohtani, probably the second or third best hitter in baseball, arguably the best player in baseball.
Okay.
And also the two
You're making my point. Right. My point is, I want you to take the people who are actually the best and pit them against each other. Don't pick the people who aren't going to win against each other.
My point is that it's the people they're picking aren't necessarily. It's not necessarily a matter of like it's this person versus that person, and they're actually going to win. It's like we're trying to build a narrative. And the narrative is we see these 83s, right? You see, obviously, Russ is by far the biggest name. And then the other 83s, the other three 83s, to be honest, like none of them are particularly big. Like Jurin's is probably the second biggest on social media. What he probably has like 25, 30,000, if I had to guess, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Adi has like less than 10. And Tim, I have no idea. He probably has more than that, but also not significant.
Tim and that is hilarious. That's hilarious.
Whatever. So it's not, none of them are significant in terms of social media following. But to when some random person comes in, right? Let's say they're coming in for us. They probably are, right? That's the single biggest lifter who's going to be driving audience in, right? They come in for us. You want to be promoting Russ because he's the biggest lifter in this meet, right? That's like just factual. But also he's going to be battling. For them, it's easier to see like, oh, Russ versus this other guy who both have to lift the same weight, right? They have to hit the same numbers for whatever percentage, whether it's to break the record or to hit percentage record. If you start saying like, oh, it's like Russ versus like Perk versus like Shell, like they're going to be like, wait, why is Russ losing? Like Perk just like whatever it is. Like it would like Shell squatted 260 and Russ squatted 330. How is Russ losing thing? Right.
Yeah, but that's why it's so important that you have exposition. Like during the pregame show, you talk about this is how the meet is scored. And then you have to
the problem with that is, you know who's going to be watching the pregame show? The people who already understand what's going on.
Okay, well then obviously the broadcasters are, that's part of broadcasting is response. Okay, so
they're not going to be tuning in.
Hold on. Let's take this back. We're talking about very like long-term pie in the sky type stuff. Right now, the goal of any powerlifting broadcast is not to engage people who don't know the sport. The goal of a current powerlifting broadcast is to engage the current fans to get us to watch more often. That's the goal.
I think you're right 99% of the time, but you're wrong here. For every single other meet that exists, the goal is for the current powerlifters. I think Sheffield is the one meet the entire year where the goal is, obviously you have to have a product for the actual powerlifters, but it's the one meet where it's like you will have somebody tune in.
No, okay, hold on. I have to explain to you why I completely disagree. So obviously I have a totally diametric view of the future, but let's say I like to talk a lot about how
the short-term future,
how we grow the current. So the current, what I would like to see if I was in charge of the current state is I would like to see, let's get the current people who are in the ecosystem, let's get them more engaged. Let's have more events. Let's have better events. Let's have more Sheffield-like opportunities. Let's get more people in front of everyone who's gone to Sheffield says it's like the most amazing thing. So let's find a way to get more people to those events, get more people to watch the events that are currently in the ecosystem. And then those people will go like, hey, come watch this with me. Right? It's the word of mouth type thing. Like that's what we really should be focusing on, because we're not going to be able to get some Joe Schmo sports fan to just randomly pick that up. It's just too big of a lift. It's too big of a reach. We had our viral moment with Jesus and it still didn't draw. It may have drawn, it probably definitely drew some people in, but I think everyone just thinks that somehow we're going to get this viral moment that's going to draw people into powerlifting. And like, dude, there were 15 viral moments in the NFL yesterday. And that isn't bringing more people in. We need to engage the current people. The current people need to be taken better care of. And that needs to happen first. And you take care of your best customers first, help them get better engaged, and then go from there. And so that's why I would rather see the storylines be like, hey, Agata's on this. We missed this part where we talk about storylines, but the storyline is Agata is like the machine. I would literally do a Terminator graphic, and I would have Agata like killing world records. That's the narrative. That's what I want to I want to see. Oh, is she gonna just absolutely blow everyone out of the water again? I knew you were frozen because you didn't push back at all. I was like, we didn't push back.
No. So okay, no, I heard you though. I saw that your face was frozen, so I thought that I was probably frozen, but I heard everything said. So I agree with what you're saying in general. The one pushback I'd have is you're using like the NFL and saying how like they're not focusing on like the viral moments, even though they have a million. They're just trying to cater to the audience.
Oh, they are
Now-
focused on viral moments. Don't get me wrong. I saw that Hail Mary 10,000 times yesterday. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say we know viral moments in the Chicago
So, dude,
area.
I had a parlay on that game that I would have made some nice money on if not for that Hail Mary.
And you were betting on the Bears.
That was worse than the double doink. That was worse. That was worse than
Yesterday was definitely a rough, interesting day. But anyways, so the thing I would say is that in an established sport, you have to cater to your audience. But like in a sport that is not yet established, you have to cater to your audience, but you also have to bring in new audience, right? Think about the WNBA.
Oh, I mean, the NFL's doing the same thing. The NFL's going to Europe. Like,
of course.
Yes, you have to. What I'm saying is, so
let me just make this point for a second. So, not that it's been super successful, but if you look at the WNBA, right? If you look at the last 15 years, they had some small.
I would argue the WNBA is hugely successful.
Wait, they're not. They were losing money, but whatever.
No.
Anyway,
okay,
fine. But let me just if you look at the last like 15 years, they had their base, right? They had some audience. They didn't have no audience. I thought it was stupid, but they had some audience. Now, that audience was bigger than powerlifting, but like it wasn't an audience that would grow the sport. Like the sport was never by itself, just catering to that audience, nothing was going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, you have in the last 2 years, you have Caitlin Clark, you have Angel Reese, right? And these are viral players, right? I mean, Caitlin Clark, potentially the most talented female basketball player ever. Angel Reese, obviously not that level, but also talented and also just like has personality. And what these people did is something that could never be done with all the stars in the WNBA before, right? You take all the, whatever her name is, Brittany Griner, and all the players. Like I remember when she tried to challenge DeMarcus Cousins to one-on-one, that was funny. You take all those stars, right? But none of them really drew in much of a new audience. They had like an audience of like people, like females who liked basketball. And like, you know what? There's a decent product out there, right? It's not great, but it's decent and we'll watch it. But you have these two athletes and they're like, all of a sudden, people who never would have like, if you asked them something about the WNBA, they're people who didn't even know existed or like literally could care less.
Couldn't name any athletes. You couldn't name any of them.
Correct.
Now they're household names.
Right. Like I follow sports enough that I probably could have named a few just because like you have the Olympics and whatever. And once in a while, they're making sports.
Cheryl, Sue Bird, you probably could. Yeah, right.
Whatever. Like also, honestly, the main ones that I can name were not even the ones that were like good in the WNBA. It's the ones who were actually good in college because college female basketball is actually pretty good. College basketball is better than professional basketball, but that's its own conversation.
That's true.
Whatever. But the point is that they had their audience and they catered to their audience, but that wasn't doing much for it. But now when you go outside of that and be like, okay, you know what? We can't ignore our audience, but like we have people out there that theoretically can actually bring in new audience. And that's what we need, right? WNBA this year, the Fever, right? That's Caitlin Clark's team. Like they were drawing real crowds. They were drawing like NBA.
Yeah, crowds. Every stadium Caitlin Clark played in, home or away, sold out.
Right. So like that's like obviously like you have to like find the moment and like capitalize on it.
Okay,
which
right.
Powerlifting has not been good at.
I'm jumping in. Right. I'm jumping in here. Okay. I talked about this. Okay. Jesus had in 2003 at Sheffield had the greatest, I would argue, the greatest performance from a spectator standpoint ever.
I agree.
Okay. And then did not compete again for an entire calendar year. For real. Okay. So I don't listen, I'm going off here. Okay. Sorry. You cannot do that. You lost your moment. What do you do? Like, how do you justify that? How do you do like you have your moment, you have your hero, you have your Caitlin Clark moment. We talked about this. We literally did a segment about how powerlifting screwed its Caitlin Clark moment by not capitalizing on what Jesus did. Like he needed to be on the poster of literally everything. He needed to be competing at every meet every weekend. Look at what Agata's doing. I'm sure you saw my reel where I was like, Agata competes 6 times a year. I get to see her. I get to. I want my athletes my athletes need to be seen more often. Like we can't continue to do this. It just doesn't. Like
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's an American issue.
it's American. What? Oh, because the national rules or what?
No. It's not just America that has this issue, but it's an America and Western Europe issue, which is we are like we're all for our like 2 or 3 meets a year and whatever, and we're not trying to grow. We need more big name athletes. We need some Eastern Europeans. We need more Agatas. We need Russians Russians. We need Asians who are going to compete every month and a half. Also, keep in mind, like people, Agata and Timur, these are the two who compete the most and of the high level athletes. They're both professional powerlifters, not maybe in your sense, but they are both. They don't coach. They don't have. It's not sponsors. They make their full-time living off powerlifting. Right? Did you see the Agata story post the other week?
Yeah, where it's her daily routine. Okay, so
yes,
you missed that, but like I literally said, okay, so if I'm doing the Sheffield pregame show, I'm making a graphic of her. I'm interviewing her and I'm talking about her daily routine. I'm making a graphic that says Agata the Machine, and it's like a Terminator graphic of her killing world records. Like
right.
that's
So my point is like we have not many. We have a couple of those. But the problem is the same people who do that are not the same people who tend to be the stars, because the stars come from the biggest markets, right? They come from the US, they come from the UK, they come from the biggest sports markets. But the problem is in those markets, those markets are also the markets where salaries are higher, income is higher, expenses are higher. So the people there are not going to be the ones who are going to be living off powerlifting at the moment, right? So those people who are not living off powerlifting and they care about their legacy and they care
you
about
don't
powerlifting.
think Jesus lives off powerlifting?
He might live off powerlifting because he also coaches and sponsors whatever. He's not living off powerlifting off money, like off like meat money. Like Agata's living off of competition money. Like literally.
You think because expenses are so low. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm saying the areas where people can do that are also not the areas that tend to have the are not the biggest sports places, right? Like I don't know what sports they play in Poland. I assume they play soccer and whatever. I have no idea what they play. But like it's not known to be like a massive sports market, right? Neither is Georgia. What?
Basketball.
It is? Okay, fine. Neither is Georgia. Like what sports does Georgia play? I have no idea. I'm saying like
some people have said that like there's 1 million powerlifters in Russia. Like
no, so Russia, that's what massive. I'm saying. Russia is big. Problem is obviously the whole like Russia being banned was terrible, I think, for powerlifting. Like
right. There's no villain anymore. There's no villain in the US team to beat.
Yeah, I don't care. Like just let them compete. I could not care less. Straight up.
I don't either. If they pop, they pop. If they pop,
they pop. Yeah. Yeah, that's my take. Like I don't care. Obviously, like ideally we want.
Hey, can I whisper again? Can I whisper again? Guys, I really don't care if guys do anything as long as they don't test positive. I want to see mutants. I'm sorry, I want to see mutants.
Okay, I've been saying this for what I've been saying for the last 15 years is, you know what I want? Bring back Barry Bonds. Bring back Mark McGuire.
Let them all juice. Yes, for baseball.
I don't give a
dude. If my sport's dying, I'm dropping the drug testing provision.
Bro, juice the balls. Like, figure out what it is. Like, I don't care. Like, yes. It's bad, obviously. Like, you ideally you want it to be a fair sport. So that's why you don't want people taking things.
Right, exactly.
You want it to be exciting. Yes. You want it to be big enough where people care to take things. You don't want it to be where it's clean because nobody cares. Like, oh, I can go spend, like, it's not cheap. You could spend thousands of dollars a year plus more if you're trying to do it healthy. So nobody cares. No, I want it to be a sport that's big enough that people care to break the rules. Yeah, they'll pop. Right. But like right now, it's like why would somebody go out there, like, other than literally just doing it because they'll get social media followers or whatever? Why is somebody going to go out there and spend thousands of dollars a year on gear and then $1,000 on medical stuff to make sure that they don't completely ruin their health? To do what? To get some followers and and a trophy. Like,
You know
no.
what? You say that, but there's a bunch of people who do. So like,
They are because it's social media cloud and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm saying like,
well, those are the guys who make the money. Those are the guys who are making $70K a year from Gymshark, who are pulling
correct.
1,100 on a kabuki with straps, and like they're like, oh, look at me.
Yeah, it's a big thing in bodybuilding for sure. Like people will think of it like Mike was trying to describe as like an investment to take hella gear. And it's like the investment is,
Yeah, but at
can
least
I win
bodybuilding,
this
there's
money?
some money. Like at least
Yeah.
bodybuilding, there's money. Like he's talking about is there isn't really much anyway.
Problem is, I was actually having this conversation last night at the gym. Bodybuilding, there's also coverage, right? I was talking to Joe Burley.
Not
Joey B, it's like his Instagram's like Joey B, whatever. So I was talking to him in the past about like helping out the future of powerlifting, and then I randomly met him for the first time at the gym, and we were talking. He wanted to try to create a documentary, like follow around power, like a day in the life thing on powerlifting. He was saying like he got the inspiration from there was a Kai Green one that like when
yes.
right. And I'm like, powerlifting, like we have like some Instagram stuff, right? We got Instagram accounts and whatever. But like if you look at YouTube, there's nothing, right? There's a few channels that like post like just like lifting, like recaps and stuff like that. It exists, but like there's no coverage at all, which we've talked about. We know there's nothing.
Right.
So
there's no money. I mean, dude, I thought about
there's no
doing a
money.
documentary.
So that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying,
have. I can't spend $10,000 on a documentary. Like so actually, there is one documentary I do want to do, but it wouldn't even be that expensive. Okay, so think about when a documentary is telling a story, right? What's the story everyone wants to know? The story everyone wants to know is how the fuck the USAPL fell apart. That's the story everyone wants to know. Like, what happened? How the fuck did they fuck this thing up so bad? And so
the problem is, are we too late? Are we
What'd
too
you say?
late? Are
What'd
we
you say?
too late?
No, but that's why we could show the documentary now and people you could watch. It's about the past. No, we're not too late. Actually, we may be right at the no, dude, it's over. It's
Okay.
over.
It is, but I'm saying the problem is so
They would need to clear house of an admin, dude. I've heard the stories.
in
They
this
fumbled the
conversation,
abs guys.
So in this conversation, right, that we were having last night, I was saying how like I found somebody showing me some like powerlifting like channels on YouTube, right? And I forgot the name, but there was an account that hasn't posted in like maybe 2 years that had like 180K subs. And I'm like, we need people with actual channels to put out content. Because if you think about it, right?
Did we talk about this?
Right. If you I was going through the monetization stuff, right?
Yeah.
If somebody has like 200K subs and they put out some long form content, they can actually make money and then they can spend money. You understand? Like,
right, yeah.
If you have 200K subs and you put out a long form video,
that's a different stratosphere. That's insane money.
But I'm saying if you put out, these are estimates because the numbers vary depending on factors. But in general, if you have 200K subs, you put out an hour video, right? And you get something like maybe 25K views on an hour video.
Yeah.
You know how much that pays?
Gotta be like a couple thousand, right?
So I was looking and like on my podcasts, I would make something like $70 per 1,000 views.
Right. And if your podcast gets
and
yeah, sorry, if you get 4,000 views, which is like I think I saw you were doing something like that, and it'll grow over time, of course. If you get 4,000 views and you do that every single day, you're making $100,000 a year.
That was my point.
Yeah.
So the problem is we don't have these channels, and the ones we do, a couple of them are inactive, and the other ones are like set in the way they did it. So I was saying, I haven't gotten a response. I emailed the person who had that channel, haven't posted in 2 years, so they're doing nothing with it. And I said, I'll give you 25 grand right now for your channel.
You're gonna buy the because you don't know if those people are dead. Those subscribers could be dead.
They might be dead, but I think it's a 25 grand for it. It's worth more if they're alive. It's worth way more.
If you're gonna do that, you got to do it in payments or something. You can't just.
I think it's worth it. I'm saying my point is that the channels that exist aren't putting out content, and the ones that are doing it terribly, right? Like the IPF has like close to 200K also on YouTube. I think.
Yeah, right.
They should be putting out content. Like there should be somebody.
Well, so that's the problem. We talk about this. It's very hard for the federation to put out content because you would have to piss someone off.
I
And they don't want to
understand.
piss anyone off. Like
Right.
you
So the
can't make
problem is
content if you're
though,
not pissing people
it's
off.
very hard. It's also very hard for the non-federation to build up a channel that size.
I don't think so. What are you talking about? There's guys who
Unless
on
no,
YouTube
if
who've
you're
got a
if
million
you're
subscribers.
if you're an individual, that's fine. But no, the individuals aren't doing that. They're doing their own thing. Russ is not going to post some he's not going to do like daily or weekly podcasts talking about like what's going on in powerlifting. He's not going to do it.
Well, I
It's
mean,
not worth his time.
That's the problem. Why would that not be worth his time? That builds
Ah.
that he could leverage that into his other brands. He could do like that would totally be worth his time. 1 hour.
I mean, he has no interest, right? Like he doesn't. Like he ran his own podcast for a little bit. I don't know if it's still going, but he didn't talk about powerlifting.
Well, because he was using that to leverage into his better brand before that collapsed. Like that.
Correct. But I'm saying like the people who are doing that, they have their channel is based off people that are interested in them. Like they won't tune in. They don't care.
Well, that's how everything is nowadays. Like Pat McAfee, dude. Pat McAfee's the most watched personality.
I understand. So the point is, somebody has to build a channel that's big enough and is already based off the fact that it's about powerlifting, not about an individual. So if you have one of these channels, right? Like let's say future powerlifting, right? Let's say I got YouTube to 100,000 subscribers, which I don't think is ever going to happen unless something changes. No, unless
King of Lifts at? What is he at?
On YouTube, nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised he doesn't do more YouTube.
I know.
No, but here's the thing. People put the wrong content on YouTube. If you put no one's watching an hour-long video on YouTube unless it's really, really high quality. What you need on YouTube is you need those so every segment.
They don't pay.
The 6-7 minute videos. If you post enough of them and you get enough, that's where that's enough.
You have to spam it. The 6-7 videos.
No. Here's what we've talked about.
6-7 minute videos. 6-7 minute videos pay like $5 per 1,000 views.
If we did this live over time, watch it.
If you got 1 million views on a 6-minute video, you're making $5,000.
Okay,
it's not easy to get 1 million views.
Right.
If you get 20,000 on a podcast, you make the same. So like the money's. So obviously you want to utilize everything, right? You want to have shorts. You want to have you want to be doing all forms of content. But
okay, hold on. Let's talk about this real quick. So how I always envisioned it, and I don't know why we haven't done this yet, but how I envisioned it is we would eventually record a show live, like every day, pretty much 5 days a week.
So we tried doing that. We tried doing that weekly with the Powerlifting America podcast. Now I understand you don't like the whole idea of the federation, but besides for that,
the federation can't because I'm gonna say I don't think Taylor's showing up to Nats on the federation podcast. That can't happen. I literally talked.
I said stuff like that.
Okay, it just can't happen. So what you need to do is something like that. Like, dude, we get a lot of attention from a lot of people on this podcast. Like, believe it or not, because occasionally shit goes.
Are you live right now?
What's that? No, that's the problem.
Wait, why?
What?
Why not live?
We haven't done it. Brendan, we're going live the next podcast. Okay.
No.
What?
Go live right now. Here.
To what platform?
Send me a link. Send me a link.
What do you want? What are you going to go live on?
No, we'll go live on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
Do you need the stream? Do you need a stream key? How do you pull the stream key from here?
Oh, just send me I don't know how you go live. I do it through OBS.
Okay, hold on. Well, no, because what I would do is I would open OBS and then I would screen grab this.
Yeah, it'll give you a link.
Hold on.
You have to create a broadcast. A broadcast.
We're biasing towards action today for sure.
No, I'm saying obviously we're in the middle of something that's not going to go for so long, but the idea is just like see how it is. There's no reason not to.
Oh, I don't have it on this one. Fuck. Hold on. You can go live on yours though. Just screen grab it.
Let me set it up.
No, because that's really we should. Brendan. Oh, I said I was going to do it because all I have to do is Brendan can do the recording on his end for the long form, the shorter form stuff, and then I can do because I have all the stuff. I have the Roadcaster and all the nice stuff. Look at this bias. Look at us biasing action.
It's great, honestly. I like it.
But either way, the point I was saying of going live was not because we're gonna get people tuning in really right now. Like you gotta let people know and
Hold on.
whatever.
It's we talked about this. It's literally just brick by like it's over time. It's a lot
No,
of
I know. My point is though, like we can go live, but it's hard to really get people to get onto YouTube. They just
you don't
like
think
people.
Max you don't think Max is gonna happen?
No, he bailed
Okay.
on me when we were supposed. He bailed on me when we were supposed to do a podcast.
I can't believe he did that. I literally can't believe that. He is so he's perfect.
He got his chance, and he was fired before he got his first audition.
That group chat is the best thing to ever happen. It's literally so funny.
Yeah, I have it muted, and then like every night or something, I just go read through the messages.
Sometimes it gets totally out of hand. You have to have that meeting because it gets spirally.
What's your? It's live with commands. Is your name?
Listen for commands.
Listen with commands. Anyway, keep talking. I'm saying we don't need to stop.
Oh, okay.
Try to set this up.
Well, I just saw Jackie posted her meet recap.
Later.
Yeah.
5:52 or something.
Yep. And she missed, I think, what did she drop off 12 kilos off, or no, 8 kilos off her
She missed her third squat, I think.
squat. She did the pro duel, so she's forever in my heart. So it looks like she's an SBD athlete now because she whenever when no one likes the SBD sleeves. So when they switch to the SBD sleeves, they got the sponsorship.
I need a thumbnail. I don't have a thumbnail.
You want me to take one?
Yeah, just
No
send
one
me
other
something.
than me. No one other than me would be using SBD sleeves for free. You got to have a sponsorship
Gotta
for
have the
it.
sponsorship. Actually, Shane did say that he likes the SBD knee sleeves, and he's not, but he is and not, and is not.
Fair play. I mean, mine were like knee warmers, man. They were not cutting it.
I have Ray-Bans for like when I don't want to put on my stiffies and I just want some coverage.
Ooh.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like,
this is not
yeah.
getting streamed out. Fine.
Okay. Damn. We were close. Yeah, so I mean, basically, all I would do is open up OBS. I would screen crap this and then just post it to there, and then just go live. And then eventually, like I have that space. I want to do like a nicer studio type thing, so that would even be nicer.
Yeah, but okay, so we could try. Like, listen, I'm down to like do it. I can't commit to how often or whatever, but I'm down to do
Well, I mean,
something.
that's why we do it. We do it at like before work, or we do it like after. We just find a time, and then we can literally bring on any. If we can bring on any guest, and just be like, if I say dramatic things, it will go like we get people's attention for sure.
Right.
That's the. I mean, I guess also like, what do people want to hear? Like, what? Like, I don't think there's enough. I think obviously we need more content. I think there is plenty though when we do like r/powerlifting. Well, here, speaking of content, let's talk. The whole reason we had you on. Let's talk Taylor. What do we think?
I think he did what I expected him to do. I mean, I didn't know necessarily that he was going to leave anything in tank or whatever, but his top end is right around where I thought it was now, right? He went 285 on squat and had what 10, 15 more, something like that.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah.
He went 2 on bench, had like 7.5, 10 more. And then he went 342 on deadlifts, and that was an RP10. So what does that put him at? Like
830.
830 is what he hit. Like,
Yeah.
what does that put him at top end? Like 850?
Oh, 15 plus 7.5 plus, so that's 22 and a half. So 852 and 852 and a half
Right.
at a thick 82.9.
Yeah, he's really 83. So, but then again, let's just take a step back, and so he was injured, right? Came back. This is the first block or cycle, whatever you want to call it, that he's pushed. So I think that give him healthy, right? What do we have? 5 months till nationals?
Yeah. 22 weeks.
Yes, that's 5 months.
Yeah.
So I think you could put some more on there, right? Like there's no reason to assume that if he's healthy and bigger, that his squat can't creep past his best squat previously. Like his training's looking pretty good. His deadlift PR'd. His bench is the strongest it's ever been. Do I think he's can beat the other 83s on a good day? Probably not. Do I think he can put himself in the middle of it? Possibly. I would have liked to see him go all out just to have him already put up that meet. Like, let's say he did the 850 that we think he's possibly capable of, right? That would have put him a lot closer, like not on paper, like already down than he's done. I would have preferred to see it, but from his standpoint, is it useful to do that? Probably not. Like he probably can like keep training now.
He gains nothing by doing that, though.
Correct.
He only risks another injury.
Correct.
So
which is why it's good. The viewers want to see it because they want to see the biggest performance and they want to see that he looks close.
I watched it knowing that he wasn't going all out, so I was just we were all in the chat just like measuring the like measuring, okay, that looked like this, he's got this left on the top end. Like that's all we were watching. We didn't really want that because we didn't. What could he have done? He would have had to topple 860 to even be right, because that's where Joe's at, right?
865.
865. He would have had to top 865 to even like warrant that like super meet, right?
But see, that's the thing. I don't think like there was super meet wasn't what was necessary, right? It was just a meet. It was a meet to show that he actually is healthy now and that he is trying to come back. Like that's what it was, right? Meaning the last time we saw him, the last 3 times we saw him, at least 2. I'm trying to remember when nationals was, but like Worlds and Sheffield, right? He did not put up like big performances. He was way behind like previous top end. And he was clearly injured, which we know. But now he looks close to being back. The question is, does being back mean he can compete, right? He can be back, but he's been gone a couple of years. The 74s have leveled up. The 83s have leveled up. Is there room for him at the top? I don't know. I mean, I want to see it.
I think he's put himself in a position where now he has options. He can stay where he's at and get beat by Joe, or he can go down to 74 and get beat by Burke. Like he's got options now. And like, sorry, I don't. What was he even?
That's fine.
Is he even
going
to show up? He can't show up. That would be his legacy.
He's going.
No, he's not. He's not going to show. Why would he show up? What does he gain from showing up?
How much you want to bet on that?
How much you want to bet? $100. Done. $100. He's not going to show up. No, he's not. Okay, Shake. He's not going to show up to compete. Sorry, he'll show up as an announcer for sure.
To compete, yeah, $100. Okay. Yeah, I just think it's okay that he might show up and get beaten by Joe. That's fine. Like,
I don't think he can do that. I literally don't think he can physically.
So I disagree. I think we're past the point. Like, if you went back a few years, maybe you're right. Actually, not maybe you're right. You are right. I think we're past the point.
The way he still talks, there's literally no way.
I know, but we're past the point where if you're good, you win. We're past that. At this point, people have to realize you could be really good. You could be the best. You might lose. And you might not win again. That's okay.
Right. I mean, we did.
You're
hurt.
You're hurt.
What would he like at his given his age, and he's got the kid debuff, which is a real thing. And And actually, his LinkedIn goes crazy. I followed him on LinkedIn, and I'm like, damn, that's actually impressive. Like to do that, to work up the corporate ladder there, and do the powerlifting thing is impressive. But like, I just don't like. I think like everything is kind of past him. Like I just don't.
So the only reason why I don't agree is because for some reason, I don't know what it is, he has the love for powerlifting that's like past a lot of other people. Like other, he had like if I were him, I'd be like, okay, multiple time world champion, multiple time world record holder, at one time greatest lifter of all time. Now I have a kid, I have a good job, and I think he works for IBM still.
You know, he's got to be close to being retired. I was looking at that. I'm like, he's probably not far from retirement.
Whatever. So I'm saying like I would be like, okay, it was a good run. Like I cemented my legacy. I'm a Hall of Famer, and like move on. But if you love it enough, you don't do that. He loves it enough, and also believe he has to believe in his head right now. I don't know if he believes.
Does he do the Lane Norton Mike T thing where he shows up at
No,
Nationals for fun and then goes to Masters, or no? You don't.
no, I don't see it. I think he has in his
for powerlifting. Like,
no, that's different. That's love for powerlifting, but like realization that you're done. Like you're still competing like in Masters, but like that you're never gonna top what you've done. I think Taylor, first off, he for sure could top what he's done, right? We've established that like we still think he can do better than 838, right? We agree on that?
at 74?
Even not at 74. I mean, at least PRing on his total.
We'll yeah, he could have PR'd his total.
Okay, fine. So we agree on that. He has to believe in his head that he can come back and win. Now, I don't know whether if we were inside his head, I can't tell you whether he thinks that this year, with like 1 year of coming back and being healthy, whether he can win the 83s. I don't know if he actually thinks that.
Then he'll show up.
So I don't know if he thinks that. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I'm not sure. But I'm confident that he at least thinks that he can come back, whether it's this year or next year, and actually win the class. I don't.
Okay, if he's delusional enough to think that, then he'll show up.
You have to be. Bro, there's way more delusional people out there. You know how many kids you see on Instagram who like have a big meet and they're like, oh, I'm only like 80 kilos behind, but I'm 19. I'm for sure gonna like whatever. None of them do it. None of them. Right? You go back 5 years ago at like all the rising like juniors and teens. Where are they now?
Right.
They're not in the sport, or they're
progress.
In the same
progress
spot.
Is not linear.
Oh, of course it's not linear, but like sometimes it's not linear, but sometimes it continues going up. But like you don't know.
Right,
it's gonna happen.
It curves.
Right. So I'm saying you have people like Joe, and you have people like Agata, and you have people like who are other good examples? Jod, whatever. You have people who have like continuously made that progress. But then you have, for every one of those, you have 10 like Sidors and 10 like other people who like nobody's even heard of now, because powerlifting has a short lifespan, and the people who were the strong kids 5 years ago, for the most part, are not in powerlifting now.
Yeah. No,
so having delusion is fine, but having delusion as somebody who's done it, who knows what it takes, is different than having delusion as you've never done it. You just think that since you've been making that progress, you'll continue making it.
Yeah, you got the Taylor Atwood Kool-Aid going, don't you?
I mean, I wait, I'm not even saying that he's going to do it. I'm saying that I believe he thinks he's going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, so in all seriousness, everyone wants him to show up at Nats. We want the matchup. Like we want him to show up. Like more talent is better. More talent creates more competition. But like I'd rather see him at 74 than in a crowded 83. Like I'd rather. Hold on. Here's my question. I want to. So if he goes 83 and one guy has a bad day, he still loses. But if he goes 74 and Perk has a bad day, like.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I disagree. I think like one thing that happens when you get injured, I've been injured for the last who knows how many years.
Oh,
but
I know. I've been injured as well.
So you always try to, first off, you try to come back too quickly. And then also, whatever it is, you get re-injured, you push too much. It's like the classic. I mean, most people try not to do this, but it's like the classic, like kids injured, right? They're like they're doing like 50%, whatever. All of a sudden, one day they feel healthy and they like push to like close to what they're been able to do. And next week they come in and back on the DL they go, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So obviously we're not assuming like Taylor's not an idiot, right? We all agree on that. He's not doing that, and he has good coaches around him. But when you're trying to recover from an injury, especially like as you get older, which this I don't actually know, but I can imagine, like you want those extra calories.
Much better.
Like it helps. Like bulking up, like having that extra weight is gonna help. I don't think, honestly, I would think it's best for him to never go back to 74. Like it's one thing if he weighed in at 80 kilos this meet, where like he was too heavy for 74, but like he's an 83 right now. Like
right, and he could still be filling that out a little, and maybe the
right,
that extra
like he didn't cut whatever, but I think he's much better off like being able to fill out another like let's say 5 to 7 pounds and train healthy, push whatever, than like have to try to cut down like whatever it is. I don't know how much he would have to actually drop like before water cutting stuff, but like probably has to be like 10 pounds.
Well, no, so I'm also curious. I'm sure he's going to go on King of the Lifts and talk about it. I'm curious what did he weigh? Because he weighed in at 82.9. So that means
I know.
That means he did cut into you don't just wake up at that. Like he had to cut into the meat. So what was he at before?
No, I don't think he cut into the meat. I think he ate into the meat.
How do you weigh 82.9?
If he was, let's say, chilling at 81 and just literally ate into the meat.
Yeah, but that's how do you manage? How would you? What you would keep it that close?
Yeah, I'm saying you weigh yourself on the scale. You keep eating. Like I don't know. I mean,
no, it didn't matter either way because he would have just been like oh, I was just okay.
That would be hilarious though, right?
Okay.
If his comeback to me, he didn't even do 83, he was 93. That would be hilarious. That would be funny. It would be like,
well, if you drink half a gallon of water, that's that gets you there. So
it gives me vibes of okay. So remember like when Daniela was like 84, and then she said she made her big announcement she was cutting to 76. This I think like 3 or 4 years ago at the Nationals, and she missed weight. Right, I was there. She was like. Whatever, she missed weight by a little bit. Like she was there. She was around 76, but she missed weight. And then didn't do anything for the next year. And then I look at the next year Raw Nationals roster, and she's on the roster as a 90. It's just like
a 90. You mean
Danielle Bello.
Oh, this was USAPL weight classes?
Yeah. That was the year they added whatever. So it was like she like she was 84. She's like, okay, I'm gonna make 76. All of a sudden she's at 90. Like that's what it sounds like.
That's great. Yeah, I was gonna say it's quite the fucking yo-yo. And now he's only gotta get to 900 to catch Gavin. So and Jawan. Should we talk about Jawan's thing?
Do we want to?
No, I talked about it with Craig for like.
Did anyone actually see it?
Yes. Everyone saw it. Listen, everyone saw it.
I didn't see it. How did everyone see it and nobody's screenshot?
That's what I'm saying. No, because everyone saw it. No, this is exactly what happened. Stop. This is exactly what happened.
Bro, everyone saw something with like a type. You could post something with a typo, and 5 minutes later, you'll have people screenshotting it, telling you you're an idiot. There's no way he posted that, and there's no screen.
Everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen." Someone's gonna screenshot it. Not me though.
Why? What? I don't understand. If I saw it, I would screenshot.
I don't care. We just talked about how we don't care if people.
Did you see it?
What?
Did you see it?
Yes.
With your own eyes. You saw it and you didn't screenshot it.
I was like, this is hilarious.
I can't believe you didn't screenshot it.
This is hilarious. No, because I'm assuming everyone else was going to screenshot it.
That's.
Is it on Snapchat? Would he have known?
Bro, posts needles on his story. Segues into. He's not governed by WADA. Nothing can really happen. So
I don't know, but yeah, honestly, like I don't really care much about it.
No, I don't either. That's why I didn't screenshot because I'm just like
I still want to screenshot it. You need receipts. I'm saying because if you want to talk, like I prefer not talking about things without receipts. Like you want to at least have the backup.
So I assume someone does have the screenshots because I found it through someone else's repost.
So someone has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone else reposted it and was like, "Oh, Jawan's doing this," and like I didn't know like you can inject other things that aren't steroids. Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, not really this topic for this conversation, but basically my point is I think Taylor will show up. I think he'll do 83. And I don't think if you
I'm
look at
gonna
like
continue to say he's not showing up just to hold his feet to the fire.
that's fine.
Because I'm gonna say
Listen,
he's
wait,
not,
I respect that also because you've been saying that. So it's
he's
like
not
like
yes.
you've been saying that, so that's fine. Like it's not like something new. Like it's not like you see people all the time they like get on a bandwagon. No, like you have been saying
Well,
for
I have-
months.
exactly,
Like
exactly.
so that's fine. Like I get it. I think he'll show up. I think he'll do 83. I think as a betting man, like would I bet on him winning? Obviously not. Like you'd have to give me really good odds. Would I bet on him like winning in the future? Maybe with the right odds. I think it's possible.
Well, so I honestly I could see a path. It's not like the unlikely he could. So like Russ is getting older and Joe has already had a injury, so it's not like and I'm guessing that injury has to do with the rate of his training acceleration. And so but he did come back really fast, which is nice. Nice to be 19, right? How old is he?
Joe is like 22.
22. Nice to be 22. Same thing. So it's not out of the realm that he does that and then he improves even more, gets to that 860. Can anyone else get close to 860 besides
Yeah.
those two? Who?
All the kids who are in like the 840, I mean not kids, but I'm saying like Chris Parr, Angel Delaney.
Delaney. I wrote off Delaney.
Bruh.
Wrote him off. Done.
Bad decision.
Washed.
Um,
Open the gym, bro. Dude, once you open a gym, you're done. As a gym owner, once you open it, when I saw I open a gym, I was like, I wasn't like really like I didn't really know enough to really be serious about that take. But then when I saw you open a gym, I'm like, you're
yeah,
done.
I mean, listen, I
You're
discussed
so-
this. I discussed this last week with Adi when we were talking about the 83s and stuff. And I said last week the same thing is that I think Taylor is better off going to the 83s. Like I don't think he's the favorite, but I think he's better off. I think it'll help his health. I think it'll help his progress. I think he'll show up and then they also like he generally lifts the standard. He has the most experience of any of the lifters. Like, who knows? Can it happen? Yes, it could happen. If you gave me 10-1 on him winning nationals this year, I'd take it at 83.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Okay, so that means 10-1 is not crazy because you think about it, there's like 8 lifters who are doing it, who are all in the 830 plus range. So it's
10
like
to 1 means 1 in 10 times you win.
correct, but if there's 8 lifters doing it, right? That means assuming they're all equal, which they're not, that would be 8-1, right? And he's not coming in ranked 1 or 2 or 3. So like
Not three, you wouldn't put him at 3?
I'm talking about purely off rankings, like off like what he's done, not where he should come in. Would I put him at 3? No, I put him at 4.
So you'd go Joe, Russ,
Joe Delaney Ross.
Joe Delaney, Russ. Okay.
Anyway, but like, and also there's just, I mean, Chris Perez did like 845 at I think or whatever, something like that at what was it called again? That rally at rally.
You can't call it rally. You can't call it rally. You got to pronounce it right.
Whatever, I don't care.
That was the crazy. That was the crazy.
And then we can't forget about my favorite controversial lifter, who's going to total 825 for the 17th time.
Sean.
So like,
I saw him post something the other day. Hey, I'm just here for this. I'm here for the cross and then the.
But okay, my point is like, I lost money betting on Sean versus Ross multiple times. I was a believer.
25 for the 17th time.
No. So I was a believer every single year. Every single year I looked
What
at
do
his
you mean? He's a
training.
Marcellus client now. He's fine.
Every single year I looked at his training and I'm like, he's going to beat Russ this year. Every single year. Now I finally moved on to the train where I want him to win, but until proven otherwise, I'm just going to assume he's going to total 825.
That'd be funny. You should take that bet with people. You should be like 825 straight up, like 825 straight on, but like you got to get like 10 to 1 or something.
More than 10 to 1. A specific number?
Yeah.
Bro, you get 10 to 1 on like a team winning by 3 points. Like, and this is like under expected. But yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Or do you want to do r/powerlifting? You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, let's do it.
All right. So we need to make the graphic r/. So I'm going to do the voice. Now it's time for r/powerlifting. So I just read the top thread on Reddit. Oh, come on. There were better ones. I'm not reading the shoe review. Oh, here we go. Powerlifting meet hot take from the spotter/loader. Have you ever spotted and loaded?
I have.
Brendan, you have? All right, we've all spotted and loaded. I'm a spotting and loading aficionado. I literally am like a NASCAR picker. I love spotting and loading. I love the technique of it. But I just competed in my third power. I'm gonna like brief some of the stuff. I don't want to read the whole thing. It's quite the thing. He just competed in a local. I already read. I did read the whole thing, so you guys don't have to. Let's just put it that way. All right. So, says it takes 5 to 7 people to run a powerlifting rack for a competition. Okay, first off, if you have 7 people on the platform, I'm killing 2 of them. I do 7 people on a platform. I will kill someone. You need 5 people is the max. It's the minimum and the maximum you can have on a platform.
Well, you could have 3 as long as they're squatting under 500.
No. I'm talking about so I treat spotting and loading like a job. Like I pay people well, and I'm up their ass to do a good job as well. Like and then other people don't pay people well and then aren't up their ass. So you can't. 7 people is just ridiculous. That's insane. If you want to have someone rotate in like that,
you know what my hot take about spotting and loading is?
Yeah.
I hate spotting because everyone in powerlifting is so damn short. I gotta like squat like a foot below parallel to get to them. It's like if they fail, I'm gonna be in such a compromised position.
Oh, exactly. No, I see people going down in those frog squats to spot. I'm like, you can't do that. You have to stay
I know.
Time.
Correct. You have to be more in like an RDL kind of position. I mean,
yes.
If you go that low, you're gonna have 0 leverage. If the person fails, you're gonna fall down.
See that all there. Like, oh, this is good spotting and loading, and like they're like down in a frog spot. I'm like, you can't catch it from there.
Right.
So sometimes people have like a preemptive thing too, where they don't even brace, and then they'll just like come like dive bombing at you, and you like are at risk of hitting the bar.
Oh, I've hit the plates when somebody just like randomly decides to drop down.
Yeah.
Well, at least he can catch it from the top. Like,
yeah.
No, they haven't failed. I'm not saying when they fail, but like they just randomly like you're like spotting correctly, like you're close to plates, and all of a sudden like no brace, no anything, they just drop. And it's like,
well, that's why the commands are there. The commands are there for the people on the platform. That's why you wait for the start command. Because once you get the start command, you know the lift's about to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's hilarious. When you feed your spotters and loaders, make sure you feed them hot food. The last meet had cold cut subs. What is that? What does that have to do with anything?
God forbid they had cold cut subs.
They got subs from Wegmans. It's demoralizing to go back into the second session on just some subs. Like it wasn't bread and butter. Like he fed them. I'm assuming it said cold cut, so it had meat on it.
What the hell?
Okay, this one is actually genius, but it's not. It doesn't work. He goes, all meets should try to run a 50-50 raffle that benefits the spotting and loading crew. I paid $75 for the first 2 meets I worked. It's hard to recruit people to spot and load when you're driving to meet, blah, blah, blah. The problem with that, so that doesn't work for local meets because local meets aren't run by nonprofits. If you want to do a raffle, it has to be a nonprofit. However, for nationals to take care of those guys who are actually good, that would be amazing because Powerlifting America is a nonprofit. So I literally sent it to the treasurer when I saw this because I was like, this is a really good idea. So we do a 50-50 raffle, and then we can pay the spotters and loaders like I imagine a 50-50 raffle, you might be able to generate like 10K. Like you could pay the spotters and loaders 10K for a couple days. Now you got people lining up. And once people start lining up, then you can hold them accountable and you could be up their ass.
See, the funny thing is, I always think the concept of 50-50 raffle is stupid because I would never buy a ticket for a 50-50 raffle. It's just a bet. It's a bad investment. So I just don't.
No, but if you know that half the money is going somewhere good, people buy that. People love that shit. And you
Yeah,
can sell it online now too. Well, you should do it anyway. Even if you sell a little bit, it's free money, basically.
Right.
And remember, so here's the thing that's like really stupid. So Powerlifting America thinks Powerlifting America is a nonprofit that thinks they're a professional league. Okay. They're not. It's a nonprofit organization. It's run by a board. Like they're never going you can't run an organization by committee and expect it to somehow be this professional thing. Okay. That's just not how systems work. They don't work that way. So we should really be taking better advantage of our nonprofit status. Dude, I did a golf outing for an autism charity. We made $10,000. Do that. You can do all this charity stuff. You can do banquets, you can do fundraisers. Stop trying to be this professional thing and just do what you're good at. Let the other companies take care of the professional stuff. I hate that shit.
There's another interesting one on here. It says, get your squat walkouts shorter. I kind of like that.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over the natural progression, the chronological order.
You need spotters to take your back call rack. So there's a chance you can. I don't know. The only thing I've ever been able to say is help. I don't say rack.
Wait, what?
Like if I need help, it's like help, and then like
right.
Get those walkouts shorter. No. What he should say is, so if you ever want someone to do something, it's helpful to tell them why it's in their interest to do it. Right? Take a shorter walkout because it's less energy for you. Right? And it adds the added plus of helping the spotters and loaders. Reframe it.
It's true. I mean, like, I personally feel like a lot more intimidated as the lifter to have like a super long walkout because you're just in the middle of nowhere as opposed to like
right. Yeah. I mean, having a
to the
short
bar
walkout is all good. I'm skipping the loose plate one. I don't care about that. Okay. So this one drives me up a wall. It says competitions and spotting loading ruins everyone's normal lifting schedule. If you are participating in the sport, try to have a 1-to-1 meet spotter load or a 2-to-1 ratio to give back to the community you take part in. It sucks, but if we all had more people giving back, the sport would benefit all around. Okay, listen. Aside from nationals, we're not running a fucking charity. I'm a for-profit meet director. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm trying to make money. I'm not any meet director that says they're not trying to make money I would be so fucking suspect to that person. It's not even funny. They are some of the meet directing is some of the not hardest, but it's some of the most annoying, tedious work that exists. Okay. You have to do 15 different things on the same day. You manage like 20 staff. Like you're trying to make money doing this. So because you're trying to make money, your spotters and loaders are your employees. They work for you. You need to pay them accordingly. Sorry, Mike. I know this isn't big picture. This isn't big picture for you. This is the nitty gritty of powerlifting. But it's important because I think it can help make competitions run faster and be more watchable if we have better spotters and loaders. Oh, this one is the best one. If you fail during a competition and record it, post it. It's not glorious, but it's nice to see us as spotters and loaders doing it work. Keeping you safe and seeing you on the platform, giving us everything you got.
I'm pretty sure the only time you see fails posted is when either the spotters and loaders don't catch it or the person fails.
Exactly. It is a thankless job, but that's why people should get paid for it. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would become a spotter and loader for notoriety. It's like just do the meet at that point if you want
There's
to like.
one guy in the WRPF who's like a known spotter and loader. He like has his crew.
Hmm, that's interesting. I didn't even know that.
Oh, do we want? Well, we can do one more. People in countries with international arms of the USAPL. How's it going in your country? Do we want to shit on the USAPL a little more?
Always.
Does it still exist?
In Larry Maley's mind only.
No. I don't mean the USAPL. I mean like the USAPL International.
Okay, so this was in response to. So I'm hosting an abs meet. Abs is coming to play to Aurora, and then we're doing like a local meet, and I'm gonna help them with some bigger stuff. And so it was a anonymous question on the abs story. It goes, "Are you disappointed with USAPL Ireland's first year, or is it what you expected? What's the plan going forward to improve, considering the Irish PF sold out December comp in minutes and the USAPL comp and reform got canceled due to low numbers?" He said, "Disappointed. It's not really my focus, and it always has been the powerlifting series. Me and the lads tried something new." Um, he says, uh, "It confirmed I will never want to be working with a Fed or governing body again." So I basically reading through the comments, you can see that basically USAPL is just it's just really bad. So they fumbled the abs guys. Like those are some of like the most innovative people in powerlifting, like professional. Like they've done some. You've seen all their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they've done great stuff, and like they just completely dropped the ball. They people fail to realize USAPL is in fact a dumpster fire. 6 week for artwork approvals, many levels of bureaucracy, favoritism when it comes to sanctions, you name it. They aren't failing because PA is doing better. They're failing because they suck. Admins are completely tone deaf to what lifters actually want. Fumbling away abs is insane. Supposedly, one of the big complaints coming from USAPL Ireland guys was that it took too long to get the USAPL to sanction comps. That sounds right. All right. Anyway, are they doing anything else besides Sheffield? Is like, can we get another event? Like, I guess I got to do stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did a recap of Boo Bash before you got in here, Mike.
Football match the local meet, bro. That's like recapping the T-ball. I was recapping it from a director standpoint.
Yeah,
No,
but
like I don't know. I mean, what like I can't even think of an event. I mean, I'm gonna do that big local meet for sure with the big money, and hopefully some big names will come out to that. But like, I just don't even. I'm honestly not like. I mean, I want to do my thing, but that's gonna cost a lot of money. The dual stuff is gonna cost a ton of money. Um, so like, I have to raise money to do that. It's gonna cost fucking $250,000 to $500,000 to do. Um, just the bare bones. But like, what else is there? Is there going to be anything else, or is this what we're stuck with? Like, what do you think?
I think for the short-term future, this is it.
Nationals, where the top athletes don't even show up because they can qualify for Sheffield. Um, Worlds, okay, where everyone's sandbagging to try and go to Sheffield, and then Sheffield.
I think nationals will be really good this year.
Yes, no, nationals will be good.
Meaning we have 3 weight classes that should be like legitimately extremely entertaining in the 66s, 83s, and 93s.
Yeah, it's in a good location too. Atlanta's a good city, good venue. I just hope it's a better crowd because Reno was not like Reno was.
Reno's expensive to get to. I looked into flights. I was thinking about going, but it was just so expensive. I couldn't justify it.
Well, yeah, and everything was connecting. I had to. Yeah. You're gonna go to Atlanta though, right?
We'll see.
Come
See what's going on.
Come on.
We will see. What's the date? It's in the March.
Yeah. I think it's early April now. Everything had to get kind of pushed back. I think.
Okay.
No, because then it got pushed back from February to March. April. It had April. Because Age is in May. Age is in Reno in May.
it's an absolute banger coming up on the 16th of Open Worlds equipped. I know.
In Iceland.
I know
I'm
Steve
gonna
Ash is
watch
gonna
it.
be ready for that.
I'm gonna watch it.
That's
That's
coming.
like that's like degenerate behavior. That's like
Well, it
looking at
depends.
Chinese
No.
table
What I'm
tennis.
gonna do is I'm gonna go look like a couple days before and look at the nominations and see if it's interesting because I watched a lot of last year's. Problem is the best lifters. It's unlike how like in Raw like there's new PRs like or whatever new world records like most international competitions, right?
Yeah.
Here like there's not like in Equipped like you're looking at like the nominations and it's like they're all below like the world records by like a lot. So it's like I'll watch it if there's actually weight classes that like
Well, the super heavies, because the super heavies like can like add 200 pounds to their bench with the shirt. So
yeah, I just saw you saw Dante. He
who?
just benched like Dante De Leon.
What about him? Isn't he the one who hit Kevin Papa?
Yeah. So he just
Like yeah. That'd be...
so he just like put on a shirt and bench like 680 or something like that.
Oh, okay. You get kicked out of USAPL, you come to PA, and then you don't win at PA, so you go to Equip. That sounds like a natural evolution.
Sounds like the typical pipeline.
That sounds
I
like
really want to say so. I really want to say something right now, but
say it. Come on, say it with your chest. We'll clip
I'm not gonna say it. No,
We'll cut it if it's bad.
no, it's not bad, and she's never gonna see this. But and I like her, so I already said too much.
Come on.
I was saying Heather Connor.
Oh yeah.
Okay, when the PA goes Equipped.
Dude, she'll be the first one to be like, yeah, of course I did. Like she'll be the first one to be like, damn right, I'm going to Iceland. I'm going to see the Northern Lights. Like,
Yeah, the Equipped people are pretty like they have some great humility. I mean, like I don't think they disagree.
sometimes, oh my god, holy, they still think that like dude, I talk to people like in power, and they go, yeah, but people want to see the most weight lifted. I'm like, no. They don't want to see the fucking trampoline basketball league, bro. Like they want to see the NBA. Like
It's also not interesting to see like 3 bomb outs per flight.
yeah, that's
It's really not.
I will say at Equipped Nationals, it was really cool to see those big guys because we don't have at Raw Nats the super heavies, like aside from Ray, is like not entertaining. Like there's really not like a like really big guys. And so it was really cool to see 3 like massive dudes like going at it. Like that was kind of cool. But other than that, yeah, no, it was terrible. And I had to MC the whole thing. I'm surprised I didn't get killed because I was like, round of applause. And I'm like, you guys are Equipped lifters. You guys can't do that. Because you're in your bench shirts. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for coming on. This is good. We got to do more. We got to do. Like I said, is there just not? I mean, there is enough to talk about. I feel like there's enough to talk
Okay,
about.
the problem is we have to have some sort of topic because we can't come on and like do this live, right? Let's say we try to do this live.
No, we definitely have to do prep for sure.
No, what I'm saying is like we can't go on and then just the conversation just defaults to like how we're taking the wrong approach to the sport. Like,
but we are until we stop.
Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that like people listening are like it's not grabbing listeners.
Right. No, I know. So I'm trying to think about how how a normal sports talk show goes, right? So like r/powerlifting is great. Like I love that because that's like could be something super random we can talk about powerlifting. Like having that is good. I think we need to have like lift of a week. We need to have like segments, like lift of the week.
So so that's I was thinking about it when I was thinking about potentially doing like a weekly show. It's like probably it's a little hard to find all the meets, like especially like right away. But like just see like okay, who competed this week? Did anybody have like
the lift of the week is going to go viral? You would think you'd see that somewhere.
Right. But
And it doesn't even have to be like a comp lift or anything. It could just be like Russ.
I think
but
it's a comp.
No, I'm thinking more like I'm thinking more of like seeing okay, like for example, like this week it was like Taylor who competed. Who knows? Next week it'll be like some random kid in Italy who like whatever I'm saying. Like, but
Sure.
that part could be part of it. It's just a little hard to find. The results don't go on open powerlifting like right away. It takes like a week or two.
Right.
And like lifting cast doesn't have everything. And even if it did, like sorting through it, like I want to like I wish like I could have like some sort of feed that gives me like all the results immediately by
I mean, doesn't
dots. And then,
Instagram do a pretty good job of kind of like filtering through like to give us what we need?
yeah, it'll give us the top of the top. But like the top of the top, or like we said, compete twice a year, and we know when they're competing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all you need. As long as they don't filter out
Well, so
like
how what it would be
the
like is okay,
banger.
we're all on Instagram, right? So we would go, hey, like what was your lift of the week?
I think that's you're asking me.
Yeah.
Taylor's deadlift.
Taylor's deadlift.
Only because the 2 minutes after the deadlift.
Oh my god. We stared at the camera.
Bro, they got you know what talked about that is they need a mic. I wanted to hear everything he said. I don't have patience to try to lip read it.
Ask DM Justin Nutt.
He has the audio.
He was operating the floating cam.
Get that for me. I want that audio.
I can
I'm
ask
just
Shane.
curious.
But yeah, so like yeah, that would be the lift of the week. I mean, was Agatha was last week, so that would have been that one.
Yeah, so yeah, hypothetically we would have had 2 in a row, so it couldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
We
I
could
mean,
do
and like
one
I guess
week.
we could probably talk some training stuff. Like Perk is always doing stupid shit in training, and
Mm.
has Joe been posting a lot?
I haven't seen that much.
He posted something last week, I think. I remember seeing something on King of Lifts.
Hmm.
That's rally. That's meet recap. That's a bench. 2 days ago, 426 for 2. For some reason I thought he benched more than that. So that was
Oh, you know who had a big bench this week? Jordan McKinley.
Jordan McKinnon. Is that a chick or a guy?
Jordan, 93 junior. The strongest 93 junior in the world by a mile.
Really?
Might be the strongest 93 in the world.
Jordan.
JM Lifts or something. I think that's his.
Oh, there they are. I recognize him from somewhere. The tennis ball. Oh, 450 for 2.
And he pulls 800 and he squats in the sevens.
Why is he not at open mat?
He's coming this year.
Where who coaches him? Coach Evan Hawk. His coach is younger than him. Wait, no.
That was mine.
Coach is 1 year younger than him.
You would think Kevin's older than me by a mile, I'd say.
Oh, your coach is younger than you too.
Yeah.
Shane was younger than me.
That wasn't working for
You
you?
should
What
have
happened with that? Do we talk about that on the podcast?
Nah.
Not yet.
Kill the recording.
All right. You want to do an outro?
Oh yeah. All right, everybody. I'm Sebastian Carcione,
Brendan Tegetov, producer extraordinaire.
producer extraordinaire. Mike, do your outro.
Oh, I didn't know I'm doing that.
Or do you want to be future of powerlifting? Do you want to be Michael?
I'll be future of powerlifting, but I'm not doing an outro. Bye.
All right. Thank you, guys.